Welcome to the Rated Rabbi Sports Card Podcast, where sports cards and pop culture meet the 1984 All-Star Game. I am your host, Rabbi David Spinrad, and welcome to episode 3, Missing You. Remember that song, John Waite, 1984? I ain't missing you at all, missing you since you've been gone away. I ain't missing you at all. You remember that song. Come on. I'm not the only dork out there. 1984, John Waite, Missing You spends 1 week, June in 1984, 1 week on the Billboard Top 100. But this episode is not about John Waite, not about the song Missing You. This is the Missing You about the 17 future Hall of Famers who were still active in the game and yet did not sniff the field. Let's take a look at that all-star ballot and we'll run down some of them right off the top. Remember back in the day, not everybody used to make the all-star ballot. So there was the write-in campaign. You can see on the bottom little spot to punch out the what's it called? The hanging chat, to write in your favorite guy. Let's take a look at some of those guys who were active on the ballot but did not make the game. Bottom middle right-hand side of the page, we have Robin Yount, who was active, of course, still as a shortstop, didn't make the game. His teammate, also in the American League, third baseman Paul Molitor, catcher Carlton Fisk. In the outfield, we had Andre Dawson, and we also had Harold Baines. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positional players. We also had 5 others who were not on the ballot at all, and we'll get to them in a minute, and 7 pitchers. Remember, pitchers were always taken by the manager. But before we get to those 17, beyond just the quick introduction, I want to take a minute and look at the ballot and take a look at some of the names. Squint your eyes, look close. Some great throwbacks. First base, Dan Dreesen, Chris Chambliss, David Green. David Green in the Jack Clark trade. That one still hurts with his Jerry curl. In the AL, Herbie, Tom Pashork. You know Tom Pashork. Tom Pashork is most famous for, of course, he's in the middle of the 1971 Topps rookie card. Dusty Baker on the left, Don Baylor on the right. Tom Pashork had a good career, but listen, he was no Don Baylor. Who else we have? Ron Oster. I got squeezed on there somehow. But Steve Sachs. Steve Sachs actually was the second baseman in the 1983 All-Star game from the Dodgers. He led early before Sandberg overtook him and got the starting nod. Ends up missing the All-Star game altogether. That's funny. Looking at the guys who are on the ballot, none of those guys actually made the All-Star game at second base for the NL besides Sandberg. Some great names. Johnny LeMaster. Oh, man. Ron Say, giant killer, the Penguin. I hated that guy. This is fun, man. Doug DeCinces, third base. I think probably, was he an Angel at that point? I think he might have been an Angel at that point. Mike Heath, A's catcher. Oh, my God. I once saw Mike Heath try to score from second in the bottom of the ninth at the Oakland Coliseum against the Boston Red Sox. Base hit to right field. Dwight Evans comes up with this base hit. Mike Heath, he's got to try to score. I mean, there's 2 outs, and Evans just charges the ball, scoops it up, nails Mike Heath. Ball game over. Let's get out of here. That was, man, dude. Dwight Evans, top 3 outfield arms for me from my childhood. In no particular order, I'm going to go Dwight Evans. I'm going to go Dave Winfield. I'm going to go the Cobra, Dave Parker, personal favorite. Few good outfielders that you might remember. I see Willie McGee. I see, oh, this is fun, Terry Poole, little white fast dude. There's Dwight Evans. Anyway, let's flip it over and we'll get into it. I just want to show you one more thing here. Check this out. Backside of the ballot. Love that. You get the free Nolan Ryan warm-up jacket by mail with proof of purchase of Gillette products plus $1 for shipping and handling. The products were the Atra, the Track 2, the Good News, and the Cricket. I love that little picture of Nolan Ryan too. Check that out. All right. So the 1984 All-Star game has, as I've said before, 19 future Hall of Famers on the field. Incredible. Plus 3 managers, plus 3 announcers, plus 2 honorary captains, and plus 1 first pitch for a total of 28 future Hall of Famers on the field, yet 17 get left behind. I ran down a few of them who are on the ballot, but let's take a look at them now. Let's do it in this order, shall we? First ballot Hall of Famers in alphabetical order. Wade Boggs. Wade Boggs is not on the All-Star ballot. The guy won the batting title. He had 361 his first full season. Third base doesn't make the All-Star ballot because John Castino made it. No offense, Toby Harrah. No offense, Vance Law. But come on, man. Dang. Who else first ballot? Lefty Steve Carlton. He got lots of love last episode. The Dennis Eckersley, who you remember was kind of an in-between space, hadn't really become the dominant closer. It's no surprise he didn't make the All-Star game. He's still a Red Sox in 84. Molitor, I mentioned. Joe Morgan, kind of at the end of his career. Kirby Puckett was a rookie in 84. Nolan Ryan on the backside. That's as close as he got to the All-Star game that year. Tom Seaver. I mentioned Robin Yount. So those are the first ballot Hall of Famers active in 84 who did not make the game. Boggs, Carlton, Eckersley, Molitor, Morgan, Kirby Puckett, Nolan Ryan, Tom Seaver, and Robin Yount. Second ballot Hall of Famers. He's on the ballot, but he does not make it. Is Carlton Fisk. I was a fan of Fisk. I'm a little grumpy, but Carlton Fisk. All right. Now, in my mind, there's a significant drop off from here. We've got fifth ballot Hall of Famer Don Sutton. Great perm. You got to admit, Don Sutton had a great perm. Solid all the way through the 70s. Won plenty of games. He is the NL pitcher in the 1978 top set who gets that awesome All-Star emblem. Don Sutton, fifth ballot. Ninth ballot. Two players on the ninth Hall of Fame ballot. They are Andre Dawson, who made the All-Star ballot but did not make the game. Ninth ballot, Andre Dawson, and Doggy, Tony Perez. They're Hall of Famers. In fact, I was a little surprised it took both of them until the ninth ballot. What do you think? 9 ballots? Like, wait. Make up your mind. Few more. 14th ballot, Burt Blyleven. Don't give me that, oh, you know what? He was underrated, never appreciated, played on bad teams. I want my Hall of Fame to rock. When I go to the Hall of Fame, I want it to be just like, wow. There's no wow for me and Burt Blyleven, y'all. No offense. I'm not like anti-people born in the Netherlands. I'm not anti-guys with good curveballs. I'm not anti-guys with good beards. I just don't feel Burt Blyleven. Got 3 more. Expansion era committee, Joe Torre. You get no argument out of me. Actually, Torre was a 6-time All-Star, had a real good MLB career, and then, of course, very successful as a manager, most notably with all those champion Yankee fans, Yankee World Series teams in the 90s and early 2000s. Last 2, both elected by the Today's Game committee. First one is Lee Smith, active until 1997. That's when he retired, makes the Hall in 2019. And finally, Harold Baines, who retired in 2001, made it the same year as Lee Smith, 2019. And for those of you who are Harold Baines fans, please don't take this the wrong way. But if Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame, and if Roger Clemens is not in the Hall of Fame, and if Barry Bonds is not in the Hall of Fame, but Harold freaking Baines is in the Hall of Fame, that ain't the best Hall of Fame you can have. And I'm, Harold Baines. Harold Baines? Do you think anyone's ever going to tell their kids, listen, come here, son. You weren't around, but I got to tell you, when I was a kid, my dad took me to see Harold Baines. Who's Harold Baines? Harold Baines is a Hall of Famer. So listen, I once saw Harold Baines go 1 for 4 with a sacrifice fly. He drove in a run, son. Harold Baines, 1 for 4 with a sac fly. Harold freaking Baines. No offense, Harold Baines fans, but giddy up, man. Come on. Hall of Fame, not the very good Hall of Fame. All right. Sorry to pile on to Harold Baines, but I just had to just get that off of my chest. All right, let me show a couple of cards here. Get them set up on the candlestick backdrop. 2 cards, 2 stories, and let's make them big so you can really see them well. There we go. All right, first card. Oh my God. Everyone has their essential card of a star player. Sometimes I think the rookie is kind of a cop out. I mean, yeah, it's the most valuable, blah, 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 blah. But that Nolan Ryan, 1980 tops. Get a good look at that. Look at that leg drive. Look at that stride. Look at his hands gripping he's about to throw a heater. Look at the glove is tucked back. Look at the pink and the purple and the way the pink flag and the Angels blue underneath it. Look at that. That is a gorgeous baseball card. And that all-star banner across the top, AL All-Star, just one of my all-time favorite cards. Love everything about it. When I got back into collecting, it was one that I targeted from the jump. I remember having it when I was a wee lad. And the other one, 1989 tops, Robin Yount, right? So here's 2 guys who were active, 2 guys who would someday make the Hall of Fame, 2 guys who were not at the game. What's special about that Robin Yount, you say? Who grades a junk wax card, you ask? Well, I'm going to tell you. That card was a gift. I officiated a funeral about a year ago for a family, and they saw on my bio on the website that I collected sports cards. And when I went to sit down with the family, the son-in-law gave me that card as a gift. So I just think it's very special. I really appreciate it. It's one of those kind of just PC feeling great gratitude for this family and for this man who in kind of doing a little homework on who I am, saw that I collected cards and he had been a collector and he went into his collection. And then, yeah, I just thought that was really, really quite nice of him. All right, let's go back to the solo layout now. There, I'm back because I'm going to queue up one more card for us. So we ran down that there were 28 future Hall of Famers on that field that day. We ran down that there were 17 future Hall of Famers still active in the majors, but who were not at the game. There's one person who actually I mentioned, if you listen carefully, there's one person who was not there, but man, let me give you the full picture. 1975 tops, Peter Edward Rose. Man, I love this card. I love this card. Let's take a look at it together. What's the first thing your eyes see? It's pretty well centered. Maybe a touch off, but pretty solid. God, that red and yellow combo is so good for the Cincinnati Reds. About to win back-to-back World Series. Big red machine. Looks like spring training. Kind of look at that Dutch angle in the background. Pete hitting from the left side. That classic pose. Concentration. Earless. No ear flaps. Helmet. The Pete Rose, the big swirly P and the big swirly R. Love that font. Is that all caps with the shadow on the Reds? Cool NL All-Star. Pete Rose, man. Pete Rose. All right. You go to the Hall of Fame, there's no plaque for Pete Rose, but he is all over the records room. Number 1 in hits, number 1 in doubles, number 1 in games, number 1 in plate appearances, number 1 in at-bats, and he still remains number 6 in total runs scored. Pete Rose. Pete Rose. All right. This is fun. Thank you all very much for tuning in. I'm going to try to come back with another one Friday. My goal is to do 2 a week, releasing on Mondays and Fridays. Uh, if this is something you're kind of enjoying, hit the like button, leave me a comment, and best of all, just tell one person. We'll spend some time together, um, reminiscing about the 1980s, reminiscing about the 1984 All-Star Game. Until I come back on Friday, have a wonderful week. May you enjoy health and long life. Thanks for tuning in.